Coach Mike Bray's first year as head coach is barely underway. One of the first things he did upon arriving at Delaware was sign on a talented point guard. Tyrone Perry, a 5'11" product of Newport News, Virginia, was Mike's very first recruit. Tyrone is a focus of this week's player profile.
When I first came in, it was kind of like, yeah, he's a freshman. Let's see what he can do. But I think I gained respect from all the upperclassmen that I can play, and I'm serious about winning. So they respect me for that, and they get on me sometimes, but they know when we on the court, and I want to win as well as they want to win. When he was recruiting, he was saying I'd be in there a lot, and one of his jokes was like, one game I'd be in there and I'd be tired and trying to come out, but he'd turn his face, like, you got to stand there because we don't have enough guys. So all through the time he was recruiting, he said he told me I was going to be in the game a lot, and he was expecting a lot out of me, so I was expecting that coming in. I think my defense is probably the strongest part. That's what's giving me more minutes than anything. Just coming off the bench, being a solid defender, and that's giving me more minutes than my offense. I think that this team can probably go to the NCAAs if we stay in tune, play the way we play, that we play Northeastern game, and to just play together as a team, as a whole team, instead of trying to be individuals going out there playing, trying to go for yourself, playing as a team and trying to win as a team. And I think this team can go as far as that we want to go. Every time you go to college, your family, your friends expect you to make it to the NBA, and they don't want you to, like, forget them. I won't forget them if I make it, if I don't forget them. If I don't make it, I won't forget them then, too. So I think that was, like, the biggest thing they tried to get on me.
Tell you what, quick guy, can bust a three, and I get the feeling that he's got some big scoring days ahead. He's going to, obviously, the heir apparent to the point guard, Garner, but this kid can shoot.
Certainly. I mean, we're very excited to have him part of our program. He was one of those guys. I got the job April 12th, and we weren't recruiting him. Richmond and VCU were the only scholarship offers he had. We made a late charge, and thank God we got him because he's a winner. You can tell he's mature beyond his years. He plays very, very hard, and the future's bright with Tyrone in our program.
Your very first recruit, so I guess he's a little special to you.
He is. He really is, and I told him that in his recruitment. I said, you know, there'll always be a soft spot for you in my heart because you were the first guy to commit and jump on this bandwagon.
You know, I'm getting a fuzzy feeling. You know, we've seen what Coach Bray's recruiting has produced. Now let's check out his coaching style in this week's coaching clinic.
Today on the Coaches Clinic, we'd like to talk to you about how we coach our perimeter players, and we use the phrase catch and face. In that way, they're always a threat on the perimeter when they catch the ball. They're a threat to make a move to the basket. They're a threat to make a post feed. Overall, they're balanced and they're ready to be a strong perimeter basketball player. Let's take a look at Keith and Tyrone demonstrating catching and facing, good footwork, and being a threat on the perimeter. Here we go, Ty. Catch and face first, nice and strong side drive to the basket. Very good. Here we go, Keith. Catch and face. They're down low, good balance, strong side drive to the basket, right-handed. Now we're going to catch and face. We're going to use our left hand. We're going to cross it over, we pull it through, we get to the basket left-handed. Everything starting off of catching and facing. Pull it through, left hand to the basket. Very good. Now we catch and face, we're balanced, we go right up to our jump shot. Good balance. We go, Keith. Catch and face, good balance, right up to our jump shot. All right, let's start it over again. We catch and face. Now we go a shot fake, one dribble to our move. Very good, Tyrone. Here we go, Keith. Catch and face, shot fake, one dribble to our move, right-handed. Very good. Let's same thing, catch and face. We're going to come back left-handed. Good shot fake. Good. Left hand. That's it. Catch and face, Keith. Good shot fake. Pull it through and use that left hand. Okay? Excellent. Catching and facing on the perimeter is a key phrase, especially for you young players, to be a threat offensively when you catch it.
Coach, I like that stuff. Now we're going to see these elements throughout the season. We're going to see you doing various coaching clinics, picking up on some of the fundamentals. What I'm wondering is, how are the kids getting the basics? Obviously, this is Mike Bray's team now. Are you happy with how they've grasped your fundamentals so far?
I am. I'm very happy with that. And you know, they were a pretty fundamentally sound group, even, you know, before I got here. They had some good habits.
Under Steinwittel?
Definitely,
okay.
Under Steve. I mean, there were some very good habits and good carryover, and that really helped us. What also helped us was, in the preseason this year, we were allowed 8 hours a week of individual instruction before October 15th. And we did a lot with just those basic footwork habits in September leading up, and I think that gave us a head start before practice started.
Well, we've pretty much gotten you up to date on the men. Now let's catch up with the Blue Hen women. Joyce Perry does the honors in this week's Coach Perry's Report.
Hello, I'm Coach Joyce Perry. Last weekend our team played much better. From our long road trip up north, the first game featured a 7-point victory over Boston University. The second game was a tough loss, overtime loss at Northeastern. Against Boston U, it was Keisha McFadjian leading us with 21 points. Keisha shot 70% from the field. Jackie Porak contributed 8 points and 12 rebounds.
We played up to the potential that we can play to, and it just sparked us as a team. It gave us a lift from all the losses that we have experienced. So I really think that was a good win for us.
Then versus Northeastern, Jackie set a freshman record for most points in a game with 26. Shonda Piggott grabbed 10 big rebounds to go along with 9 points, and we lost 72-64 in overtime.
We could have really put away Northeastern early. We had a good 5-10 point lead, and we just let it get away from us. And in the overtime, we just didn't have anything left, I think, to give. So it was a disappointing loss.
We are now 3-9 overall and 2-3 in the NAC. Each game becomes increasingly more important as we continue conference play. We continue this weekend with home games versus Hartford and Vermont. We hope we can notch a couple victories and continue to improve. This is Joyce Perry. See you next week.
All right, we'll do that, Joyce. The Mike Bray Show comes right back at you after this short break. See you then. Welcome back to the Mike Bray Show. And Coach, before we go any further, I just want to say thank you for bearing with me. I've had a vicious bout of the flu, and they wrapped me in cellophane. It didn't look good on television, so they took it off. And let's face it, you might be catching something.
Well, I know you're playing hurt, and I respect you for that. And I know I'm carrying you today, so don't worry about it. You're with me.
Well, you guys have some games ahead of you on the road, a stop at Hartford and a stop at Vermont. Neither team's setting the world on fire, NAC, but two very, very competitive ball clubs.
Well, I think anytime you go on the road in college basketball, and certainly in your league, you have to be prepared to really battle. And both of those teams are going to play well at home. They both have, one has 2 wins. Hartford has 2 wins in the league, and Vermont has 3. Hartford has a very good guard in Michael Griffin, and they swept Delaware last year. Vermont has Eddie Benton, which everybody knows about, and really did a number on UD last year up there. So we need to get back on track on the road. Last year's team, I know, only won one road game. We've got one road win now. I think a lot of your maturity as a team develops when you win on the road. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we come out tomorrow night at Hartford.
You mentioned Eddie Benton of Vermont. The guy never met a shot he didn't like. No conscience about putting it up. He's one of the leading scorers in the NAC. As for the Blue Hens, where you stand after the loss to Drexel, is there a confidence factor lost after getting hammered a little bit?
I really don't think so. You know, I think it hurt us, and we're stinging from it, which is good, and we should. But we'll take care of that today. We'll review Drexel a little bit before practice, and before we step on the floor, Drexel will be kind of put on a shelf for later, and we need to move on and get ready to play a tough Hartford team up there. I think we'll come out and really compete tomorrow night in Hartford.
What things do you take away from that Drexel game that you really have to work on or polish up?
Well, transition defense is something I think we've got to get better at. Certainly, Drexel's transition offense is the best in the league. I don't know if the 2 teams we play this weekend can run like that, but that's something we're going to have to improve on. And we've got to take better care of the basketball, Jim. We've got to get good shots every possession.
After watching last night's ball game, you get the sense that Drexel isn't going to be slowing down anytime in the future.
I don't think so. I mean, they're clicking on all cylinders right now, so it seems like everybody else in the league is chasing them right now, and it's early, so there's a lot of basketball to be played.
And you've got time to get your guys back on track. That's it for this edition of the Mike Bray Show. For the coach, I'm Jim Hayes saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next week, and thank you for bearing with me.
Thank you, Jim. I hope you're feeling better.
All right, bud.
Take care.
everybody, and welcome to another edition of Stein Whittle on Basketball. I'm Jim Hayes. We've paid Coach Stein a sizable sum to join us, so let's get to it. 2 NAC home games for the Blue Hens this past weekend. It was a great start, but a rather disappointing finish. The Hens spanked Vermont Friday night, but come up short against Hartford on Sunday. The Hens now 9-8 overall, 4-3 in the NAC. And, Coach, we start with the Vermont game. First question, what's a catamount?
Good question, Jim. I don't know, but I know they got some great shooters on that team, and they came in ready to play. They felt great about where they were in the league coming into the Delaware Drexel weekend, and unfortunately we sent them home with 2 losses. But they're a very capable team that shoots the ball very, very well. They showed us all of that. They got a great player in Eddie Benton, who we contained again. He had 11 first-half points and only 14 for the game. Rob Garner did a great job defensively, one-on-one on him. But Scott Reed, a great perimeter player, showed how good of a shooter he is. They lit it up to start the second half, 3 straight three-pointers to cut it within 1 point. We battled back. They actually went up by about 6 or 7. It didn't look real good, but our defense held on. We started to rebound better. We started to push things out, and of course ended up with a 22-point victory.
Vermont 11-4 overall, going in. NAC co-leaders at 4-1. Not bad for a team to finish 8th in the league.
Right.
A surprise team sort of came out of nowhere. What's the difference between this Catamount team and last year's?
Well, I think there's a lot more balance this year. They're distributing the basketball a lot better. They don't rely as much on Eddie Benton. They're 4 or 5 players deep, and that they got 4 players other than Eddie in double figures, and another player very close to that. They're getting better play out of their 7-foot center who's blocking some shots. He didn't do a whole lot against us, but he had been doing a lot, and they're just overall they're a much better basketball team. They got much better balance.
You mentioned Eddie Benton, their 2-time All-NAC guard. Always seems to get points against you, but the shooting percentage for him is way low. You mentioned Garner. What else do you do to stop him?
Well, 2 things we want to do. Number one, we want to limit his shots, which we didn't. He got a lot of shots, but we wanted to make him difficult shots, which I thought we did a good job of that. We didn't want to put him on the free throw line. Against us, traditionally, he's always shot a lot of free throws. He had, I think, 15 in our win up there last year. And we kept him off the free throw line, and I think basically did a real good job on him.
Greg Smith sitting out with the ankle injury. How does that change your approach to getting ready for the game?
Well, it limits us a little bit because it reduces our inside firepower, but we are very deep in the post position. I think we've got players that can step in and play if somebody gets hurt, and they showed that on Friday night against Vermont. We had good play off the bench.
So the Hens home to Vermont Friday night. Let's roll out the highlights and take a peek at this one. We go to the Bob Carpenter Center. That's a Catamount, I think.
There he is.
Is that a Catamount?
It might be.
It's mealtime is what it is.
Scott Reed showing what he can do. Boom. They know where that three-point line is. Excellent spotting up. Rob Garner takes it in the lane, hits Pearl. Our version of the 3. Good job. Garner, another good penetration move. Patrick Evans, his old teammate from Potomac High School.
We see this is a game of streaks as the Hens jump out to a big lead.
Robbie Johnson back again. We like him hitting that 3.
We will hear from him later in the program.
Great shot. Nails it.
Still got that knee bandaged up, but he looks to be moving a bit better.
Good screen by Mike Edwards. Opens up Bruce McCullough from the baseline, who's been playing great basketball. Rob Garner off a back screen from Patrick Evans. Excellent execution of our motion offense. Here's Pecharsich.
Look out.
Mike Edwards down the middle. Excellent rebound dunk. He was all over the place on Friday night.
Micah, follow this one up too.
Excellent offensive rebounding.
Hens by 15 at this point.
Yeah, we had Eddie Benton off the dribble. That's one of the few times we let him get in the lane and get ahead of us.
Little bottled water for the coach.
This shows you just what kind of range these guys got. Scott Reed from way beyond the NBA three-pointer. Nails it. And this is where they brought it back within 1. Eddie Benton nails one here. They take the lead.
Benton just 5 of 17 from the floor, had 14 points on the night. And this is when they're battling back.
Another excellent three-point shooter for him. Here's Scott Reed again, number 22, nailing the 3.